sandals and shorts, and surf and scuba and sand and sailing and soccer. San Diego, California.
Season's greetings and welcome to Two Balls and a Mic, episode 238 weeks in a row. This Tony Sanchez, along with one dancing Alejandro El Chiva Villaseñor, the liveliest I've seen him in months. Look at him go. Season's greetings to everybody who is joining. We're going to go ahead and get down to it. The breaking news: Landon Donovan becomes the interim manager of San Diego Wave. They are now currently in Panama and will face off Santa Fe in the CONCACAF Champions Cup tournament, first of its kind. We're going to get into some intel from Panama on the other team, as well as what is it actually going to look like for Landon Donovan moving forward with the San Diego Wave. What is it going to mean for the team? And Alex Morgan as well. We also talked with Tyler Heaps, brand new, according to press release.
Oh, you have notes.
I do. Sporting director and general manager. I knew that, obviously. He's talking with Tyler Heaps, who is no longer assisting the sporting director. He was assisting himself this whole time. San Diego FC and the Right to Dream Academy have the person that's going to be making the moves, the coaching moves, coaching decisions. Who is going to be coming on? We talked to him. We talked everything that has to do with the building process of San Diego FC and the Right to Dream Academy. We're going to have Paul Nathan Naku from Bridge Barcada, El Famoso, the famous, the one and only Paul Naku, talk about the Street Soccer World Cup. That's going to be amazing, coming up. The ISFA Street 3v3 tournament that's happening at Chicano Park, along with Chicano Futsal, Bridge Barcada, and a couple of our other friends. We're going to be playing at the Porterview
You are
indoor arena. Yeah, I am. You check it out. It's fine.
Can't.
It can. Oh. Come on.
Doctor's orders. Sorry.
Yes, very much so. But in any case, we're going to get into goals, gaps, and greats and talk a whole bunch of stuff related to soccer. Thank you for everybody who's joining us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube, yes, that's the one. That's the one. That's the joke. Welcome to another episode of Two Balls and a Mic. We have a lot of stuff to get to. A lot of interesting news that we were discussing between last episode and this episode. But there's no person that's been on the pulse of what is actually happening, what is actually going on in soccer in San Diego, specifically also with San Diego Wave, than our very own reportero extraordinario, the one and only Martin Abraham Cepeda. Bring him on. Abe. What's up, Abe?
What's up? Never heard that one before, Chiva.
Martin.
I hate that you did it again. Like, that bothered me. I'm sorry. But yes, I am also excited, Abe. Welcome here. Let's get down and talk about just brass tacks for San Diego Wave. This news came out last couple of hours even. I mean, if you really want to think about it, there was a weekend in between, but who pays attention to the amount of time that passes and goes? But we broke the news for San Diego Wave FC that Landon Donovan was taking charge of the NWSL current reigning defending Supporters Shield champions, second interim in a while. The way, just kind of some background with that, right? Abe, I know it took you not by surprise. You had a feeling of something happening, and it had to do with paying attention with Paul Buckle, the commitment that he made, what's happening. There was rumblings. Some sources were sourcing a lot of movement around Snapdragon Stadium. But tell me, what was going through your mind with the announcement of Landon Donovan?
From the beginning of Paul Buckle's appointment, they spoke specifically about the specific cycle, his time he was going to be there. It was always assumed, I think, internally by the Wave that he wasn't going to be there through the entire rest of the season. I don't think that was communicated clearly to media or fans. And when you see like a second interim coach, it takes a lot of people by surprise. I thought that maybe they were expecting to have an actual coach by then, but as far as an interim coach goes, I think this is probably the splashiest hire they could have gone for, which is saying something.
Did you just say an actual coach, Abraham? Let me remind you, Landon Donovan has coached before. That
He's an
came out
actual
of your mouth.
coach. I said actual coach.
I don't know, Abe.
He is Captain America, man.
He is Captain America, and he has a lot of experience with soccer in the States and soccer abroad, soccer representing soccer for the United States of America, something that he has in common now with somebody who he's currently coaching. And that's an interesting dynamic moving forward with the appointment of him as the interim. Will be coaching Alex Morgan. Like, that's an interesting kind of exercise. Chiba, what did you think with this again?
To me,
news?
I mean, the first thing that came up is just, I mean, who better to coach Alex Morgan? I mean, who else can relate, Rand? And we're gonna share that in the press conference that we had earlier today. But he mentions that, right? He understands what Alex is going through. We were kind of mentioning a little bit before we went live that he also mentioned that these are the last stages of Alex Morgan's career. So it's what are they going to do with this last couple years or last few years, right? If anything, like make it positive, make it mean something. If you're not going to get called up to the national team anymore, then go and win a championship with your team. So he mentioned he had a very long conversation with Alex Morgan about it. And I think he is the right person to get something or the best of Alex Morgan. So I see this as positive, to be honest. Which, I mean, from the reaction to social media, Tony, a lot of people were not too happy.
I've come to be rather surprised at times, sometimes not, with what does happen around our coverage of San Diego Wave, the NWSL, and it's the spectrum is such that there's almost no middle ground for anything, and so it's almost whether people absolutely love it or people absolutely hate it. You're kind of on either one of those camps, but ultimately it's a move that really had some people raising their eyebrows. Because tell me, a couple months ago, Casey Stoney's still at the helm. We were talking about, is it time for Casey? Like, but then who comes in, who replaces? Never thought Paul Buckle. But even then, to name a Landon Donovan, who was, he was in my living room. He was telling me what was happening in the Euros and, doing his darndest at it. But ultimately, it's a very surprising move for a lot of people. But on the soccer side of things, it's a very interesting move because you need somebody there who's strong of character and has been in places that not a lot of people have been in. We're going to go ahead and touch on that press conference that we did have. But Abe, go for it.
He's on the attacking side of the ball too, which is, I think, really important. He's been a leader for Team USA for such a long time. And to do that as like an attacking forward is really important for what this team needs right now. Like, this team, all season we've just been talking about, oh, they create chances, but they can't finish. Like, if there's someone that you want to be able to help coach about that, I think it would be Landon Donovan. I mean, he got the team to the final 8 in the World Cup at one point. Like, not a lot of players on the men's side have ever done that for the U.S.
I think Abe is you were experiencing you were a robot right now. But I think, again, you were talking about Landon Donovan and his experience in taking a team into the well, let's not think about how far he's taken them into the World Cup and on similar stages. But again, it's a out of left field. Let's see what happened. Let's see what sticks. What can you possibly lose for a second interim?
We mentioned this in previous episodes that Wave were already figured out. Casey Stoney's play style was already figured out, and Paul Buckle was literally playing the same style as Casey Stoney. I think Landon shakes things up, and I think he's going to catch teams by surprise. Like, the team was already figured out. They already know how to attack him from which wing to which defender. I think the way Landon's going to be playing, and he said there's going to be big changes happening, I think it's going to catch the league by surprise, and I think it's a good thing for Wave. I think they needed something drastic to happen, and I think this is the very drastic move that that they had to make.
If you take him at the very literal level of what he said we're going to play just like the Loyal played. And we can remember how the Loyal played. Like, they were win or lose. They rarely ever had a tie. There was an attacking style play. They had the ball. They built from the back. They had Coque Vegas and they had Charlie Adams. Like, does this team have a Charlie Adams that can, from that defensive midfield, do things like that?
Sources have indicated that the midfield discussions have begun, because that's going to be pivotal for the style of soccer that that Loyal was known to do, right? And at this point, he's had 3 training sessions with the San Diego Wave, and to try to implement anything in 3 training sessions is nearly impossible, right? But to give insight on that Loyal style of play, which you've been hearing, is you really need a strong midfield. You need somebody who's going to be creative, move forward. From what I've to understand, Danny Coloprico is somebody who he's had a lot of conversation with, and he's actually seeming to play Coloprico a little more forward. McCaskill has seen some more back midfield sort of action, so I think that's something that's gonna be key in that role. But it needs a strong midfield. Again, why? Because you're going to have Kaylin Vegas coming in with her foot ball control skills, much like we saw goalkeeper Coque Vegas be very involved in the beginning of passing. There was literally sometimes it's 11v10 because their goalkeeper doesn't have those ball handling skills or is able to accurately pinpoint a pass. To this day, live, I've seen Coque Vegas place some of the most beautiful passes that I've ever seen anybody do with a soccer ball, period. And that's his bread and butter. Yes.
And I mean, Landon would end up starting to play with a 3 center back line, which I mean, I think we've all been saying that we can see San Diego Wave changing to. With, again, Kalen Sheridan kind of being that last defender as well. And I mean, look, man, his last season with San Diego Loyal, they finished 2nd in the Western Conference. They had 68 goals in the season, the 2nd most in the USL Championship. Landon knows how to be an attacking player, at having an attacking team that's going to score a lot of goals. Granted, they conceded a lot of goals, but with Wave, you have a very strong defense. That's something we've mentioned about San Diego Wave, where they still have one of the best defenses in the league. You know, so I'm excited to see if he changes it up to a 3 center back line with wing backs. And I mean, Hannah Lundsvik maybe attacking more. We've seen her kind of going up there and attacking. So it's going to be exciting. I want to see what the starting lineup looks like. I can see him also kind of playing it a little safe and still kind of going with the same style this first game. And look, let's talk about it too, right? They're going to play Santa Fe tomorrow for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. They're going to win that game. They're going to dominate. They should, on paper, they should be dominating. They should be winning 5-0, 5-1. It should be a big win for San Diego Wave. But does that mean Landon Donovan fix everything? Absolutely not. Like, we're going to see throughout the games in the NWSL how he changes things up. He's only had 3 trainings with the team.
Yeah, I don't think he's met Delfin Cascarino. I don't think they've met yet. I think that's what Landon was alluding to in the press conference, where today, right now, currently, he's actually sitting down and having about 13 to 14 individual meetings with the players to give them that space to get to know the players a little bit further than just this is the type of soccer player that you are, because that can be broken down by anybody who knows the game in general. It's like, oh, this is your prototypical midfielder. This is somebody who's strong with the ball coming out the back. Like, you can see those attributes just in and out. Abe, do you think there's a world where San Diego Wave turn everything around, starting with this matchup in Panama, make playoffs, have a deep run, maybe even win this tournament?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, the group isn't that hard to get out of when you really look at it. You have Panama, you have Vancouver, and then you get a result against Portland and America, and then you're out of the group. It's not that hard, especially if you're completely focused on this and the league season is out of your hands at a certain point. You put all your focus on this. You put all your best minutes into this, I mean, we're not going to see Jaden Shaw and Naomi Girma tomorrow, but we're going to be able to see it at some point.
And that's some of the best in the world. Just looking at some of the comments here. Yes, we can talk, Pochettino later. This is San Diego Wave time. We're going to go ahead and again get that exclusive because it was very interesting to be able to break this news, and the timing of it is odd. But again, the commitment for Paul Buckle ended. I know Abe, you were working on a almost obituary for Paul Buckle's career.
I have a top 5 Paul Buckle ball moments.
Did you really?
I wrote a top 5.
All right, found
Let's
5
hear
things.
'em.
All right, let's hear it.
Let me fix my Wi-Fi real quick, and if you guys want, you can show some of the audio that Landon gave us.
We will show some of that audio, and we'll get Abe Cepeda right back. Season's greetings to everybody who's coming in. Felices fiestas. But
No, did you see this comment?
what? Which one?
What's good, fam? Sigma Pod going hard, no cap.
No idea what that means, kids. But you know what? Keep on rocking in the free world. And
That's right.
doot.
All right.
All right. So yeah, so some of Landon Donovan's first press conference, obviously he had that sit down with Wave Internal and just kind of gave his perspective. He and Jill Ellis had a relationship going back to the World Cup and have crossed paths here and there. He was asked by Jill Ellis, hey, do you know anybody who can maybe take on this job, who could take on this responsibility? And instead of saying, yeah, I do, I know somebody, he was like, I can do it.
They thought about it, spoke to the wife, and said, I can do it.
Yeah.
He missed you.
So this is some of Landon Donovan right here. Per San Diego Wave. That's not per San Diego Wave.
You got the first question in the press conference, and there were some big name reporters in this press conference, which, I mean, they don't typically join in Wave pressers, especially with the way the team has been playing, right? I mean, you have Meg Linehan, you had other reporters as well that didn't get called on, like myself.
It's fine, but you know what? We got it done.
You got the first one, and Abe got the last one.
Tony Sanchez, we will kick it off with you, a familiar face.
Hello, Landon. Tony Sanchez, San Diego Football. With this upcoming game against Santa Fe for the San Diego Wave, what are some conversations that you've had with the leaders in the group, in the squad, as well as those players that are going to be instrumental for the play style you're trying to implement?
Hi, Tony. Nice to hear your voice again. It's been a while. I've spoken with the leadership group. There are 4 of them and Naomi when she's back, quite extensively. And then I've met with 4 of the players individually, and I will meet with 13 or 14 more this afternoon. It's important for me to get to know them as individuals quickly. I can see what I've seen in 3 training sessions so far from a soccer standpoint, but I want to get to know them as human beings. So, as you know, Tony, we spend a lot of time on that. And
well, we do apologize for the technical difficulties.
I
here. As Tony will figure this out.
I don't live here no more.
But yeah, again, it was nice to hear from Tony at the press conference. He saw that Landon Donovan absolutely missed them. We're gonna add Abe again back. Abe, how are you doing? Everything fixed?
It was all good. Can you hear me now?
Perfect. All good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, internet issues. We're all having them, and that's okay. But yeah, Abe, out of this Wave press conference with Landon Donovan, what's some of the key takeaways that you got from it?
I think that he really does care about San Diego and being in San Diego as far as the future of his career goes, because when you talk about like getting 4 other MLS job opportunities after, I mean, having a USL club, that's a big step up, and to turn those down for the NWSL says a lot, I think, about how a lot of people view the NWSL as far as being a higher league than the MLS in certain senses, and just better opportunities, because it is like a big deal to just become an interim coach and just want to stay in San Diego. And for him to want to stay in San Diego and keep coaching in this city and is really means a lot, I think.
No, absolutely. And I mean, it just goes to show the love that he has for San Diego, right? He said it on the press conference that he moved here 9 years ago. And I think a lot of the love he got was from being in San Diego Loyal. And I think, Tony, we're good to go.
Mute yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. You should be good. As you were saying, he does love the city, and I think his family likes living in the city too.
Who doesn't love living here in San Diego?
No, a couple people. But let me see. Let me just pull this back up. It was a really interesting kind of. Let me hear the. Hey Tony, nice to see you again. Dynamic there.
Jugué en indoor soccer, jugaba en México, Inglaterra, Alemania. La única
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot he spoke really good Spanish, which is a plus for San Diego Wave FC Football Club.
If you're having any audio issues, feel free to just message your question.
You got it. I had
Everyone
issues.
had
Everybody's
audio issues
look.
today.
The solar flares are attacking Earth, and we need to stop it. We need to invest money. Space Force, get on it.
we like to play with Loyal, and there are a lot
Team that gives you hope.
in, but not here with us yet. Naomi's coming back. Jaden's coming back from the Olympics. So there are a lot of good qualities, and pretty obvious, or pretty clearly the way that I like to play and we like to play with Loyal, and there are a lot of profiles that fit that perfectly. So I was very impressed with the quality. I'm impressed with the work ethic. I'm impressed with the versatility. They're able to do a lot of things tactically and physically, and so we're going to be fine. It's difficult for sure when you have a game 3 days in, but I think they're in a good place, and tomorrow should be a lot of fun.
I did say perfect. Thank you, Landon. Nice seeing you, Landon, again. But it's really interesting that his first game is going to be in the circumstances that he has them. For those of you that are coming in to this tournament, currently San Diego Wave and Landon Donovan are in Panama. Literally the only reason.
I think
our internet
another
probably
thing I
went
took
down.
away from the press conference was, he wants to get to know the players as humans, not just as soccer players, not just what they bring on the field, but he just generally wants to improve everyone's lives, which is something that we saw him doing at San Diego Loyal. And he said, if I can make them better soccer players, that's just a plus, right? And he really does like that they're in Panama right now, because had they been here in San Diego still and not had this game, he wouldn't be able to meet with every single player like he's going to do, like he did today. I'm pretty sure he probably got to them already, right? He said he's going to meet with 13, 14 players. He can't keep them at training till 6, 7 p.m.
Yeah, no, it's job rules. You got to pay him overtime. Aaron doesn't have those rules. Apparently,
So stupid. Oh my gosh.
literally, why our internet went down. It's not.
Oh, Jeremy asking if he turns the wave around, does he stay?
I think that if the Wave make the the finals, honestly, he can stay. Anything beyond that, they might go in a different direction.
Let's take this perspective too, right? Of if he does turn it around and he does want to make this long term, something that he did express that it might be something that he might be interested in. As far as right now, he was asked, hey, did the U.S. national team approach you? And he said, haha, no. To your point, Chiva, he was approached by 4 other MLS teams.
Yeah.
So I think that there is just telling of, if people want to have the narrative of like, well, Landon is just doing a favor for a friend and this, sure, maybe, but he could have gone over and done a similar, if not worse, if not better, if not however Eki's job at an MLS team, and he chose not to. He chose to stay here. The teaching aspect is something that I wholeheartedly do believe that he does take seriously. He mentioned in the interview one-on-one with internally San Diego Wave that, and he's mentioned before, like he comes from a family of teachers. And just seeing that firsthand, I get that from him. He just happens to be really good at soccer, but fundamentally to his core, he comes from a lineage of teachers. And it takes a special somebody to do that, to take the time to, and then you asked Abe too about the aspect of coaching youngsters. He coached CJ Fodry essentially into Austin FC. Xavi Nalati, currently in Monterrey, still doing his thing, still very young. Duran Ferri, part of that project as well. First SDFC signing. So he has a passion for this. He took Miguel Berry, like after trainings, and I really wish more people would have been there, but for San Diego Loyal trainings, after the trainings, it's like the movie Goal. That does happen. After the players stay after and do drills on their own. And it's not usual that the coach will stay around, let alone a Landon Donovan, who is really intensely giving these tips, tricks of the trade of say, hey, this is what works for me. This is what works in my situation. And you, for the most part, are more skillful because the evolution of the game is such that he was talking about Melanie Barcenas and just how her potential to be a superstar is there. And he sees a lot of himself in Melanie Barcenas as a young up and coming player who's dynamic and just needs to have a little bit more harness on that talent. What did you think about the way he answered your question, Abe?
I think that's about what I expected. Just being able to, he said that's his favorite part. I think he specifically said that it's super important to him, being able to coach youth players, develop them in a way that's like different, especially when you think about like being in the youth national team levels. Like he was in those levels. He was a highly touted prospect, and even to have the wherewithal as a young player for him to have gone to Europe and say, I'm going to spend my entire career in the MLS and still perform at a high level is something we haven't seen from a lot of players. Like there's players all around Europe from the U.S. national team right now that ride the bench, and they would get all the minutes they want in the world if they were in the MLS, like Landon Donovan. And I think that's part of the reason why some of those U.S. teams that he was on were so successful, is a lot of those players, they got minutes in the MLS and were able to hone their craft there. Even though it's not the highest level of competition, you're still able to be able to work. And for him to be able to give that kind of confidence to young players, I think is going to be huge for this team.
Okay, let's not be Landon. I don't know if apologist is the right thing. He hasn't done anything. But Landon necessarily defenders, right? Okay, let's be honest, because yes.
I haven't like going into that. I have another thing where not a critique, but we all knew, anyone that covered San Diego Loyal knew that Nate Miller was really the man pulling the strings when it comes to tactics and style. So this is really the first time that you're going to see Landon Donovan without Nate Miller by his side. So I'm also on that fence where it's, yes, great, you have Landon Donovan. He's going to relate to the player so much. But tactically, without Nate Miller, we don't know what Landon is or what he can do. And I don't know if you guys agree or not, but it can be a little scary. It can be a little worrisome bringing Landon in without knowing what he'll be able to do without Nate Miller by his side.
That's a valid point. That is an incredibly valid point. And it's not to say that he himself is going in gung-ho and saying, this is what we're doing. He is going to listen to people. He is going to listen to the assistants, the coaches who have been there. There is licensed coaches. And before we get into this narrative of like, well, it could have been somebody else without experience or give somebody a chance, one of the assistants, that's not the choice that was made. The point here, and it's a valid point, right? Francisco feels it's a little gimmicky for me. Disappointed in a lot of decisions. The wave this year from Stoney to Donovan is insane. It is absolutely insane. I completely agree. However, I don't think those two decisions are, obviously related because of the lineage of events that led to Landon Donovan being here. But making Landon interim coach isn't a bad decision. Just like firing Casey Stoney might have been a bad decision. Like that, it lives independently on its own. That seems right now, think about it. What would you have lost by keeping Casey Stoney? You're still paying her. You're still having taken that hit.
I mean,
You're still not having. You could have not had Landon or Paul Buckle and spend the same amount of money to leave Casey Stoney there and potentially give her a chance in a new tournament, in a new setting to showcase something new. You give her,
but we weren't going to
Delphine
see anything
Cascarino.
new. She hadn't changed.
well,
shit, man. She hadn't changed.
She had a
anything
couple
through
of.
the whole
She
season.
has a couple of offensive weapons now, and that's something that we'll just
I
never
think
know.
Wave ended up doing this out of desperation to try to get some sort of change in results, and it's backfired so far. And I think Landon Donovan coming in is their last hope to be able to kind of redeem that. Yes, I agree. There was no point in firing Casey Stoney, but at the same time, she was already figured out. We kept saying that day in, day out. Casey Stoney's figured out, and nothing's changing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get the same answers. Blame the referees for this, blame the scheduling for that, and the team played great, and blah blah blah. And I mean, I was tired of the same old answers.
Well,
and not to say that I disagree that Casey Stoney was not the best coach that San Diego Wave could have had. But at the same time, the team said, we need to change something. Sorry, Casey, you got to go.
Well,
and that's just how soccer goes.
I'm gonna give you bad
in
news
the world
before Abe jumps on this, but I'm gonna give you bad news. You're gonna hear the same answer again. You're gonna hear the exact same answer that Casey would have given you, that Paul would have given you.
For sure.
But at this time, it's Landon Donovan, so we need to turn the mics up a little bit. Abe,
100%.
When you look at the Reign this season, you have Laura Harvey, who's an English manager, very similar to how Casey Stoney is. The Reign are dismal right now. A lot of their good players left, but their style, their everything has just been completely like tanked in a way that none of us expected. Harvey at the beginning of the season said, like, this is not a rebuilding year. We're going to compete at highest level. Turns out it is a rebuilding year. And it just doesn't look good when you play that style of soccer and you don't have amazing pieces that can complete that. And if you have all this supposed high talent and you're not competing at the high level with this English manager that plays in that style, I think it was, when you're looking back on it now, yeah, it might have been time to go because the results were not changing. And like Chiva said, like they were not changing the style of play they did at all. And I did not see that coming from them at all in the future.
Yeah, man, I'm tired of seeing these comments of Casey Stoney. Why? Like, move on. Move on. This happens in soccer all across the world. There's seasons where teams have 4 different managers because the team just plain sucks that season. And it happens all over the world. Like, get with the program now.
but that's the thing. They were in a situation where they're still within striking distance of not only having playoffs, but a literal silverware in this tournament. I'm not saying it was a bad choice. I'm not saying it was a bad. I think it's a bad choice. Just fiscally irresponsible to do that and let Casey Stoney go, where you could have ridden the Casey Stoney train till the end of the season and potentially gotten the same results and the same amount of trophies and the same amount of everything. This can definitely spark something else, but I will agree with Francisco on this one thing. The questionable moves for San Diego Wave. Questionable move of letting Casey Stoney go in the manner that it happened. Some obviously off the field issues that seem to keep popping up. But even then, now you look at a move like Sierra Angie leaving, and you're talking about fiscally irresponsible and these weird moves that the team is doing. It's just so many moving parts. Sierra Angie leaving for nothing, and it's essentially take 2 spots, and you gave up players to get her back. And what did you think of this move and just this whirlwind of happenings for San Diego Wave, Abe?
It was a whirlwind when they got her back because of the expansion draft. And looking at it now, it just seems like the new GM, Cammie Ashton, comes in and wants to make her own mark and have her own decision-making process that she needs her stamp on all of this. That's probably why Casey Stoney is gone. They all said that she didn't have any say in the matter, but honestly, I think it's fair to doubt that, because for a GM to not have a say in whether or not a coach is fired would be pretty insane. And that's probably just a little bit of Jill Ellis trying to take the heat off of Ashton there. But I think this is all on Ashton at this point, because Landon Donovan even spoke about her a lot in this press conference. Just like she's the one that's kind of leading all these decisions and all these chances. So if we're gonna put the blame on anyone, it should probably be on the new general manager.
Let's hear some Landon in Spanish and do some translating. If you guys are good with that.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Tomar es Juventud.
Let's see. He gets a sip of water.
Should be a lot of fun.
Thank
Perfect,
you.
thank you.
You're welcome, Tom.
Dan Loletta will go to you.
And then Dan
I don't
wasn't
think
there.
it's that one.
But I think I edited it. Yeah, I just wanted him to see him drink the water.
Dan, you ready?
Dan's was
Wait.
not ready.
You're muted, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Gracias, Landon. Hey,
Ah.
un gusto escucharte otra vez. Háblanos sobre esta oportunidad de ahora dirigir internamente a lo que es San Diego Wave, lo que significa para ti por ser alguien exclusivamente de San Diego. Y también coméntame, si, por favor, qué significa tú como el máximo referente de el fútbol estadounidense ahora poder tener la oportunidad de dirigir al referente femenil estadounidense como lo es Alex Morgan.
It wasn't this one, was it, Abe?
Sí, en mi carrera.
Are you
Is
talking
that one?
about the Emor Villa one or?
I believe so. Was that the one?
Namor was the other Spanish one, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that he was asking how did this come about, and just walked him through the opportunities, and that's what he was kind of talking about, having different clubs reach out to him, and it seems like he understands the position that he's in order to talk to Alex Morgan. He himself was left off the roster. He himself has gone through similar hardships towards the end of his career. He did say this is towards the end of Alex Morgan's career. So take that as you will. But he also mentioned that in his experience, when he was left off the roster, he was able to come back and win the league and win silverware and be successful in the domestic side of things instead of the international side of things. And if Alex Morgan does that, I think that does certainly add to her legacy that's already been built for a while. But if she gets a championship, was able to get a championship for San Diego Wave in the NWSL Copa, then that's a success that is definitely going to mark, because she built something from the ground up. Casey may not be here, but at the end of the day, it was Alex Morgan who was here, along with Abby Delcumber, who was the first signing.
Other than that, I mean,
Oh, there he is.
so I kind of wanted to dive into this next game against Santa Fe.
Okay.
Because we did get some insider information about some
Okay.
players.
Yes. So I did reach out. Did you see this, Abe, on the Instagram?
A little bit. I didn't read all of it, but I saw some of it.
Yeah, so I reached out to Fútbol Femenino 507. This is an account from Panama that covers women's soccer and very in tune with it. And I asked, hey, just give us some idea and just give us some insight of what San Diego Way is gonna be facing. And she's like, and she was gracious. Samura Samuels, she used to be a selección in the Selección de Panamá in the international team. So saying Santa Fe tiene jugadoras experimentadas de la Selección de Panamá como Xiandra González y Yaneth Bailey, ambas mundialistas de Australia y Nueva Zelanda en 2023. So she's saying that Santa Fe does have players who are battle tested and are currently part of the national team for Panama. Giving the names of the players there. Both of them have been to the World Cups in Australia and New Zealand in 2023. Santa Fe is also a totally new team. It's barely starting this year in the main tournament
Expansion
in
team
Canada, essentially.
Yeah.
And they were champions. And they were champions. So, okay, there's a pedigree there. They also won the UNCAF 2024 tournament in Guatemala, which is essentially a regional tournament, a club tournament. They have a couple of international players. Vasily Delgado, she's a defender for El Salvador. She only has 2 months with the team and already has 5 goals.
That's more than Alex Morgan.
That is more than Alex Morgan this season. So we'll see if Alex Morgan can turn that around. She also then just goes back into saying, hey, this is a team that is at a high level from our region and what we have to offer. I'm really thankful. And then I asked, like, hey, what's the feeling of having San Diego Wave come to Panama and Alex Morgan come into Panama? And she says that it's something that people are paying attention to. People are literally head to the ground, getting tickets, and they're going to be very interested to see, a world level, world class players, not just Alex Morgan, just mentioning the players and the level of players that the NWSL is going to be able to bring, and how thankful they are that this tournament exists, because it's going to give everybody a different opportunity, and how it really just opens up the gates to so many possibilities. Because now with this play-in tournament option, the league becomes much more, because you're telling me that I'm a player in the Panamanian Women's League. If I win the championship, then I have a chance to play against these players who are at an extraordinary level. Anybody's going to go ahead and sign up for that. So really great insight. I really appreciate it. Again, this Football Femenino 507. Check them out on Instagram. They have they do really nose to the ground work. So shout out there. Alex Morgan is in another stratosphere than Donovan.
They're going to play in a stadium in Panama, Estadio Romel Fernandez, that seats 32,000 fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, with Alex Morgan, San Diego Wave there, I can see this being a pretty good crowd to see Alex Morgan play.
The pictures that the Wave posted from the training look like that stadium looks nice. Like, it looks better than certain NWSL stadiums, if I'm being honest.
You could see, you can see just the coverage from the Panamanian local media. You see the team coming in, doing some training. They arrived to Panama 2 days ago to get acclimated, to kind of look around and be like, wow, what a country. Panama is actually incredibly hot and humid right now. So Landon was pretty harsh about it, as far as like, I needed them to have time to really get used to everything, the nuance of being there, the wow factor, because then it's time to work.
They got there on Saturday, I believe he said. Got to Saturday. They had a full day Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
full day today, and then tomorrow the game. Real quick, before we transition over with our next segment with Paul, who's waiting patiently.
Yes, thank you, Paul.
Waiting room. Predictions for this match. Score predictions.
I can see a 4-0 result with a goal from Alex Morgan.
Nice. I like that. Tony?
Without context of seeing the other teams, but having the context of what happened at halftime between Angel City and Ciudad Juarez, a 7-0 thrashing. I think 4-0 total full time is something to strive for if you're the San Diego Wave. That's something that you want to go ahead and do. Did Wave charter? I do believe that they did. Slapped a nice little San Diego Wave logo, but they can. It's all good. It's a zero emissions private jet, probably, hopefully.
I'm gonna go with a 5-1 win.
Paul says 2-0 Wave. You a 5-2? 5-1 win. No clean sheet for Kaylin Sheridan, who is coming back to the squad. So it should be incredibly exciting.
Based on just how Landon, San Diego Loyal used to play, they would always get scored on one way or another. It doesn't matter who they played. So if they do play with the defensive lines a little higher up, with Kaylin Sheridan essentially being a forward center back in that way, I can definitely see them getting scored on at least once. But I do think they dominate. I do think they win this game with ease. Not only that, there's also a game on Saturday here at Snapdragon against Angel City. In the return of the NWSL since the Olympics. It's going to be Naomi Girma bobblehead night, or day. It's a 5 p. It's in the afternoon, right? So it's going to be a bobblehead day.
Hey man, some soccer teams consider that nighttime. Depends who you ask.
It's going to be a hot one. So in great old Snapdragon, shateless Snapdragon. So predictions for that game.
So I think everybody's predicting a San Diego Wave win. So anything outside of a win is failure.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I like that.
So.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong. Put the pressure on. Because again,
This Angel City game, though, these Angel City Wave games have never, in my opinion, lived up to the hype. They
have not.
always
Nope.
pretty boring. It's just low score, like ties, scoreless draws. It's never great. I expect 1-0, probably Angel City, just because Angel City's been on a tear as of late. They've looked really good. Their young players are performing at a high level. Alyssa Thompson just on another gear right now. That's what I expect.
This game does hold a lot more weight on it just because they're both pretty much tied. They're both tied on points. And I mean, in this playoff hunt race, like this game is going to be crucial for both teams. So I think they both know that. They both know they need to win. San Diego Wave needs to know that they should have the upper hand, especially being at home playing at Snapdragon. I do think Wave pull off a victory. It's going to be a slim one, a 2-1 win for San Diego Wave on Saturday.
all right, we'll see. We'll be there as we always are. We'll see how much more coverage we'll see there on this weekend at
See some new
Snapdragon.
faces, probably.
Three people.
New faces, I think.
3 new faces.
Three new
Johnny?
faces.
That's not counting the Mexican outlets. They always show up for Landon Donovan.
That is
There's a
true.
weird fascination with him. I as somebody who, might I say, Landon has a fascination with me. Some might add. I don't know. You be the judge.
Hey, Tony.
Nice to hear your voice again. It's been a while.
That
The
smile,
little
man.
smile. I was like, nice to hear from you again.
These captions were not mine.
Hi, Tony. Nice to hear your voice again. It's been a while.
You know what's funny about this,
Hi, Tony.
and we'll wrap up with this, is that in my circle of just soccer, like I have those people I told you
Tony.
last week that are that are my barometer to see if STFC is doing
It's been a
good.
while.
They're the ones that, like, if STFC does something right or wrong, or they question me about it, that means that, you know, the marketing is working. I always get so much shit because, like,
It's 'cause you're
we
Tony
are all
Sanchez.
a Mexican national team supporters, and I'm here buddying up with Landon Donovan. So, like, I sent him
Hi, Tony.
this.
Nice to hear your voice again. It's been a while.
I got so much shit because he's like,
Been a
hijo de
while,
chingada
Tony.
madre, ¿quién te crees, güey? O sea, ya es amigo de Landon, maldito traidor. You're a traitor.
You are a traitor, Tony.
Yeah, why don't you go
Been a-
pee
been a
on,
while.
on some field in Mexico, huh?
Yeah, why don't you go pee with Landon Donovan at Jalisco?
Maybe I
Hi,
will.
Tony. Nice to hear.
Hi, Landon.
Won't be Jalisco because it's OVNI Life in Guadalajara. For
It will be. Season's greetings to Landon. We'll see you back here. We'll talk to him. Can't wait to see his reaction to, you know, if we're honest, I haven't seen Landon in a while. And then
It's been a while.
it's been a while, and I'm gonna stand in front like
Good-
this.
Good to hear your voice. Wait, te va a decir, estás bien flaco, cabrón. ¿Qué pasó?
Who is that? Who is that guy? All right, we'll just leave it there. Abe, you're gonna go in the back. Qué hermosa voz, Tony. Sí, Landon. Muchas gracias,
Hey,
Landon.
Tony.
Eres tú el mejor. Gracias por sacarnos del mundial. Thank you for eliminating us in 2002, Landon.
Te extrañaba, Tony.
No voy a dejar extrañido. All right, Abe, you're gonna be in the wings. We'll bring you in here in a bit if you want. Sounds like you're tapped out, but it's okay. We're gonna keep you here with torture.
Se echó un pedo, güey.
Oops, he farted again. There goes Abe Cepeda. This is San Diego Football. Go read a story on
San Diego Punto Fútbol.
yeah. I don't know why.
Oh
I'm
wait,
like,
top five,
Yes.
top five, Paul.
Oh, yeah, real quick. Top 5.
as we bring in Paul Naku, top 5 Paul Buckle moments.
Okay, number
Double
5.
Paul action.
Number 5. He spoke positively about the Mexican style of soccer one time.
That's
It was
pretty good.
honestly just because it was me, Chiva, and Amora there, and he was like, "You guys are Mexican. That's cool." No, it was because they were playing Club America. He was really positive, speaking about Club America, Mexican style play, talking about Maria Sanchez and Melanie Martinez. That was really cool. Number 4, after the first press conference, he shook all of our hands.
He did.
Number
Sure
3, he said one time after they tied 0-0 to Angel City, "I think we have a run in us to the playoffs." To say that after a scoreless draw was insane. Okay, that was such a boring game. I can't believe he said that. Number 2, He told us that Hillary Beale broke her foot. He was very honest about that. A lot of other coaches would have lied about that. They just said, "Oh, yep, just injured." Like, to be honest about that is really cool. I really like it when coaches are honest about injuries in that way. Number one, he helped us believe.
Just believe.
Remember that? He told
Believe.
us,
That's
all you
all
need to do is believe.
This
Hey,
team.
Paul
needed.
Buckle was here for a good time, not a long time. All right.
Absolutely. Drake said it best.
Believe Buckle Ball. Believe in Buckle. Believe
Buckle
in everything.
bites.
Rest in peace to Buckle Ball.
In the eyes of the names. All right. Paul Buckle, enjoy your time with your wife.
Babe.
Have a good time. Enjoy it. Enjoy Sacramento. There was he commuted from Sacramento almost daily. Insane.
What?
Hey, Abe thought you were talking about him.
No,
Yeah, I thought you were talking about it. He commuted from Sacramento?
Yes.
That's
Every day.
insane.
Every day.
Yes. Insider information.
Sources say he stayed at the trailers at the polo fields.
Sources. All right. Sounds good, Abe. We're gonna take you out right there. That has been your San Diego Punto Football, 2 balls and a mic coverage of San Diego. And with that, all right, we do have a community aspect of the show. Last week we had one of our boss that can definitely legitimately submit the paperwork to get us fired, as we are at will employees. In any case, today we have somebody who can't fire us, but I don't know why he would ever find a reason to. And if he did, please let us know.
For us.
He did make the shirts. I have the Grace Barcata one.
You also have the other funny one.
Yes, he did provide me with the Andrew Carlton limited edition 2 balls and a mic shirt.
Burn him out.
I mean, somebody has to use it, I guess. But with that, we have our community aspect, El Zarape de San Diego, and we'll bring on Paul Naku. In the great, powerful Paul Nathan Naku with his Senda sponsored soccer theme. This is your side house. It's just soccer stuff. At this point, I'm convinced.
Soccer stuff.
Yeah, another home.
My boss. Yeah.
How's it going, Paul?
Hey, Tony. Hey, Chiva. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It has been a while.
It's good to hear your voice.
Good to hear your voice, Paul. It's
been a while.
Nice to hear your voice again. It's been a while.
By the way, we didn't mention this about Landon. The hair looks great. It's looking good.
Yeah, I don't think Landon made it to this part, so we can talk about it.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think so. I think
absolutely.
he probably stopped watching now. Like he doesn't have sleeping to do.
There's a chance because we know somebody that's there. Just like I know that there's a chance that Kaylin Sheridan might have seen me putting her on a Van Halen Panama album cover thing. That this might have gone and Panama time. Paul, we have you here. Welcome in. Bridge Barcata, making it happen again. The community aspect. We talk about everything happening in soccer in San Diego, every rung, every tier. And possibly the funnest tier is street soccer, which you are very much involved with. We did touch on it a couple of weeks ago as far as what was happening here in San Diego for a World Cup, a street soccer World Cup. If you can just kind of reset us on what's happening in Chicano Park with the upcoming festivities.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. We're hosting a World Cup 3v3 street football USA regional qualifier in San Diego. So that means whoever wins our tournament, there's 16 teams. The winner goes to the national tournament, which is September 28th in Los Angeles. And there's 10 other cities across the US that are holding similar events. And all the winners are meeting in LA. And the winner of that gets to represent the US and travel to Latvia, Riga for a World Cup with 31 other countries to be crowned the first 3v3 um, Eastern World Cup champion. So
It's
Amazing.
it's crazy
That's
that
so
it's
dope.
here in San Diego, to be honest.
Honestly, Tony and I have been working on this 4 years to be able to make this World Cup, and I can't believe it's
yeah,
gonna
no,
become
this
a
is
reality.
the World Cup. You guys think talking about another World Cup? No.
No,
We were
we're
waiting
talking
for the
about that.
day that the ISFA would host the Street Soccer
100%.
World Cup USA Regional Qualifier on August 31st at Chicano Park, San Diego, California. It's going to be a good time coming out and just seeing that side of the reality of the sport. And before we move forward, do you have any opinion about the U.S. men's national team? Somebody's asking. Coach Pochettino.
Pochettino. I think that's probably the best outcome we could have ever got for the US.
I
I think it's like a step back to get a step forward, basically. So, or 2 steps forward. So I think it's a phenomenal hire, and we'll see what happens. I think the US has kind of been stagnant and kind of, just people feel like they're entitled to their spots, and just sucks that not other players are getting opportunities, especially ones that are playing, not the ones that are just like riding the bench. So I feel like it'll be good for the US.
I hope he does.
It is great for Mexico too, because Pochettino has never won anything with any team he's coached. So it is a great thing. I agree with you, Paul.
Luis says he likes you for that. But one thing I do know Pochettino does like as an Argentinian is street soccer. And he has a very good appreciation for that, as we should all. As we talk about just the movement that's happening in San Diego and just everything that's been moving and shaking, and the movement that Bridge Barcata has really kind of put themselves in. It's just like these big tournaments. We were talking about a couple of years ago, you had the Adidas tournament, correct?
Yeah, the Tango League.
The Tango League. Yeah. And so just to keep that going, it's just a testament to just the power and how much this has grown locally. And I know, like, it's been to a point where I know you feel like there's a lot of people in the space that are doing a great job with coordinating street soccer. And is it easier now? Have you noticed any sort of uptick or just people playing more, especially with the over-under pop-up goals happening at Chicano Park, which, by the way, again, we had you on when that was announced. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think soccer has definitely grown these past 6 years since we've been in existence. Not to say it wasn't here, but just a little bit more visible out there in the spaces where there's a lot more free pickups. So, like, just imagine, like, before the Chrome Ball tour and everything, and like to be recognized by an international entity to host a tournament in San Diego just shows that people are recognizing what's happening in San Diego. So it's not just Bridge Barcata is not the only one in this tournament. We've included Chicano Futsal, Chula Vista Pickup, North County Football, New Vision, Urban Impact, La Liga Barrio, and STFC is helping us out too as well. So these are organizations that have been working hard in their community. Like Chula Vista is like talking to their representatives, trying to get access to fields. North County Football is working with Street Soccer USA, SD, and that's popping off at their courts in Washington Park. And Chicano Futsal is just like so consistent with their pickups. It's like 4 or 5 times a week. And it just a testament to all the work that people have been doing. And it's pretty awesome to see that, because it's not just us, it's a big community thing. And with Wave and SDFC coming in, it's just gonna push it even more. So that's what we're kind of excited about. Like, this is really bringing us together to really move in one direction and move street soccer forward.
It's huge. And look, if it's not during the World Cup, if it's not in the qualifiers or regional qualifiers for the ISFA Street USA Regional Qualifier, it's redundant, at Chicano Park, then you can always pick up your soccer ball and hit up an Instagram page, hit up Bridge Barcata, Chicano Futsal, as you're mentioning. There's a lot of people, North County, is has a lot of things happening in Washington
doing some
Park.
dope things over there, yeah.
Street Soccer USA is now integral here in San Diego. So there's places to play. If you want to play tomorrow, we'll go play at the. Well, I will play at the
I'll go ref.
Porterview YMCA. Because since you don't want to, I guess. But yeah, you mentioned that the community, San Diego FCs is helping in this, and just what is that involvement in? And as a street soccer organization yourselves, right? Like you're coming into and having those discussions with an MLS team, and are they receptive to it? Are they, hey, let's just clear it with mommy and daddy upstairs and HR, make sure we have our ducks in a row? What's that relationship like with you guys right now?
Yeah, they're really playing a more supportive role. They're not like front and center at all. When we went to the steering committee at Chicano Park, it was very clear, like we're not having SDFC plastered all over the place, and it's not going to be their event. It's Bridge Barcata, Chicano Futsal, all the other communities events that we're hosting in Chicano Park, because Chicano Park is for the community and it's community first. And so with businesses and stuff like that, with their sponsors that help us to put these things on, it's more of a supportive role. And I think with SDFC, like with the Chrome Ball, I feel like that's like phase one of how they want to move street soccer, because there's a phase two to it. And I don't know what I can say, but like it's kind of what we're doing, but just way more, I think. And they're kind of like trying to encourage local grassroots pickups. So it's not them necessarily leading the charge. It's more of the people of the community, the people that will play on a regular basis. And it's not just like, oh, we're going to go because SDFC is hosting it. It's more like, no, this is our spot type of thing. And we're going to grow our community, our part of the city. And we're going to feel like it's really ours. It's not the MLS club. It's whatever. It's more for growing San Diego, because that really helps grow the sport, like beyond just the club level, and really be able to discover new talent and just to develop that passion, that love for the game outside of pay to play. And it just really aids what they're doing with Right to Dream and all that stuff. So yeah, they're really playing more of a supportive role. They're really pushing us to, strive for bigger things. Like, for example, trying to get us to be a nonprofit status so we can be able to accept donations and things like that, so we can grow, even be able to outreach a little bit better. Because right now we don't have anything. We're just a group of very passionate people trying to provide soccer to the community, which is pretty impressive, because we're not making any money.
Yeah,
no
look,
money
sorry to break your heart.
Yeah.
We can't give Paul a raise. You multiply
It's all pro bono work.
the amount of profit he sees times a million. It's still zero on this. So
Paul,
salt of the earth.
you all started under a bridge, and now you're hosting World Cup qualifiers. Like, what does that just mean to you, man?
I think it's just the ultimate validation of what we've done. I think, I don't get paid, but it's nice to be recognized in the community in San Diego, but just more so like around the world. I mean, that's insane. Like, people from Europe and the East, like they're tuning in. They're seeing what we're doing in San Diego, which is just like, it's hard to imagine. Like, when we started under this bridge, we just wanted to play and get away from the campaigning or whatever for an MLS team. And it's pretty ridiculous. Yeah. Like, if you look at that map, these are the 10 cities, like New York, Boston, Nashville, Grand Rapids, Dallas, Austin, Salt Lake City, Sacramento, Los Angeles, and San Diego. I mean, that's crazy. Like, for them to be, I asked them initially, like, why San Diego? You guys have LA. And they're like, the different scene in San Diego. And they want to capture that.
Boston, papita. Dallas, easy. Like, I mean, that's easy money. Like, San Diego's got this in the bag.
I mean,
No,
yeah, I would hope so. With the training that's been happening,
Austin, what is CJ gonna play or what?
that'd be unfair. But yeah, I mean, some of the scenes that are coming in from the ISFA. I should give them a follow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Apparently,
they're holding these like tournaments all over the world. That's why it's like I don't know if people understand. This is a huge deal. Like this is in Italy, like, and people are qualifying for this tournament. It's exactly what we're doing.
All right, you guys might have some competition against Brazil. And that's where I draw the line, I guess.
Is that your scouting? Your scouting just gave us? Oh. Are you playing, Paul? Are you
Yes.
There? Is this you?
So
I need you
yeah,
to be physical with these guys.
we did put in our team ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's basically like the community organizers that are going to be on our team. There's only 4 of us, so that are on the team. So we're just going to see how we do. I think it'd be we just wanted to be a part of it because we worked so hard to bring this to San Diego, and just to be on the sidelines, it was a hard decision. Like at first I was like, we're just going to just help organizing it and stuff. But I was like, man, this is like a crazy thing that we're putting together. Like I really want to just be able to experience it. And I feel like if we do like win any games, then definitely those teams shouldn't be there. Just kidding. I mean, we'll try to make some waves or whatever you could say, but I think
is this you signaling that you're going to have interim head coach Landon Donovan return to the Chicano Park stage as a ringer for this tournament? Is that what we just heard, Paul? No, I'm kidding.
No, we tried some ringers, but they're busy.
Yeah,
and Landon has a game the following day.
So. What's Ruggles doing? Just lives in a different part of the city now, just Oceanside. Jeremy, thanks for getting us on that map, Paul. No, 100%, Paul has been an integral part. I think the next step from here and having this experience, I don't know, Paul. How about San Diego hosts the World Cup? Wouldn't that be something?
Well, if we win, that's what happens.
Just bring it over. Be physical. Just be physical. These look, these highlights that I'm looking at, it's easy. I'll be the first one to say it looks easy to stop them, but it's incredibly difficult. Let's see here. Okay, well, first mistake there is not attacking the ball, letting him just pass through. Hey, how about we do some pressure? All right, let's not raise our foot all the way up. Okay, here. Yeah. All right. Hey, how about he's putting his left arm on you? How about you put your arms together? How about you link up 2-on-1? 2-on-1. The guy's on the floor. What are we doing?
Pass the ball, dude.
Yeah, that too.
It's
on
teamwork.
The offense.
It's not 1 against 3.
Didn't even Panenka him. Our guys here in San Diego are Panenka experts.
That they are. That for sure is.
Yeah, ball control 99, defending 0. All right. Paul 199, 999, everything. Like there's no margin for error there. Yeah, just a little sweep of the leg. The ball passes, but you don't. I think that's what we got to go for. Just the dirty tactics. I know you can't slide, but if you can, do you need an enforcer, Paul? Luis here is signing himself up for to be the violence. He chooses violence on the field. No, that's not what Bridgeburg Hot is about. It's about the game.
The Powell to Messi bodyguard.
Oh, the ball.
It'll be definitely interesting with the 3v3 format. Like it's really encourages 1v1s. If you're not doing 1v1, then you got to be moving. I mean, you could definitely be in a defensive shell and like counterattack. That can work too, but it should be exciting because we'll see a lot of people showing their skill on the 31st. So, I mean, we have some really good teams that are participating. Like each of those groups that I mentioned got basically spots to fill. So from their community, from their network, they were able to choose however they wanted, whether it just be picking them because they know them or having open sessions like Chicano Futsal and Bridge Barcata did, where we had open kind of tryouts to see if we should choose them to join the tournament. So we have some really good teams, especially from Marcos's side, from La Liga Barrio. There's some really good teams on that side, and Chula Vista and North County and Escondido. I don't know. It's pretty stacked.
This is going to be a great opportunity to again showcase some of the ballers that we have here in San Diego.
And Paulsby's you've been hosting the 3v3s
Yeah.
pickup as well, right? Just to get ready for all this.
Yeah, because the rules are definitely different. You have like a penalty area where you can't step in. There's like 1v1 tiebreakers, so there's no game that ends in a tie. Yeah, cross shot PKs, like if you're in that penalty area. So I mean, if people haven't played it, I definitely encourage them to try it. We have the rules posted on our Instagram if you want to see those rules. But yeah, it's definitely different than our usually 4v4 that we play. Yeah, so dimension of the fields are a little bit smaller. And yeah, it's fun. At first I was like, this is too much for me. It's like too much running, whatever, but I got used to it. Yeah, I think it just definitely highlights the skill of the players.
Yeah, no, 100%. And there's a lot of skill here. And then see this format at the Olympics one day. I mean, you never know. The Olympics are allowing kangaroo hopping as an Olympic sport, and an athlete in their own right. But kind of glad that's going sideways. But add this version of soccer, of football. That'd be incredibly interesting. The goals are in the official size goals. I know there was specific dimensions and everything for this tournament. It's gonna look good. People can come out, enjoy some really good soccer, some really high quality, and see the people that are going to be representing the city of San Diego at Chicano Park. That is going to be this weekend. Next weekend, August 31st. Yeah. This weekend. What day are we?
We're on the 19th. It's okay. When you're not eating, you lose track of days.
I really haven't been eating.
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, you can catch the ISFA USA Regional Qualifier at Chicano Park, San Diego, August 31st. 16 teams from San Diego will compete. I'm excited for that. We'll make it out there. Check it out. Paul, as always, you have been an awesome salt of the earth human being. San Diego soccer would not be the same without you. I know you know that. And also, you've made a lot of people a lot of money.
It's been a while. Good to hear your voice.
Nice to hear your voice again. It's been a while.
If Landon had long hair, he would have played around with his hair.
Oh yeah, 100%. Tony the Ray Gun. Yeah, no, it's a really interesting maneuver. Like I can do that. I can do that now.
If someone scores, someone has to do that celebration.
Oh, for sure.
Oh no, you know, Team Australia is needing to get a victory for their country back. Like, look, there's Australian battered potatoes. They fucked up by telling somebody Outback is their food, but other than that, hey, you get it back, Australia. Reclaim your sporting title. Paul, thank you again. You're an amazing human being. Shout out to Bridge Barcata. Shout out to Paul. Follow his
many Instagrams.
Are you cutting? I think we have a problem. Like you have. Make sure.
No, I'm reducing them. I'm starting to just focus on one or two. But yeah,
I love
that.
Have a
problem.
I love that, Paul. Thank you, Paul, for joining us. And with that, we conclude El Zarape de San Diego, San Diego Futbol's community. Yeah, that's right. We listen to the community. We're in the community. We engage with the community segment. Paul, gracias.
All right. Thank you.
Watching The Bear. Hey there.
Hey, Tony.
On Hulu, that has way too many commercials and they're too long. But I heard that song on one of the commercials for like Intuit Tax or something. And I in between last week and this week, I really didn't like that move from anybody. It's a song from the Mexican Institute of Sound. It's medium, just fame wise.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really weird now when I see him in person. Like, come to London. And he's gonna be like, "Hey, Tone." Hey, so
Good to hear your voice.
how's Panama?
Se pasó de lanza el
How's
compa.
Panama?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Tony exited everything.
Ew. Get out of here.
Deja
Very
de
impressive.
cagarla, güey.
I don't know, man. It's Ray guns.
Eat something. You don't have energy. Yeah, traga, güey.
when is I love how that's an insult now. Like you should
Traga, güey.
eat something, bro.
Flaco.
Eat something.
Flacucho. You know, don't even recognize you anymore. You lose 100 pounds and it changes you.
Oh, thank you for saying it's 100. Damn impressive that what that dude has done. Hats off, Paul, 100%. And I'd reach out if you have any way of just kind of
How you done
engaging and supporting Bridge Barcata. That do that and endorse soccer in San Diego because it's incredible what happens to. So it's
Had you
two-way
done this 2 years ago, you would have got a pro contract with Loyal.
legitimately that
What a
wasn't
shame.
that was an
What a
offer
shame,
that Andrew
man.
Vasiliadis and Ricardo Campos, the then
you would
president of
you
San
would have
Diego
been able
Loyal,
to say I was a professional soccer player.
told me that like, hey, well, I mean, I didn't tell him. Like, that would be pretty dickish of them to do. Like, hey, fatty, I can give you a 1-day contract if you
Hey,
lose
Fatty
weight.
Sanchez.
Um,
No. Have you seen the guy
Hey.
that's been going viral on TikTok or just reels? Memo Orchata.
Memo Orchata.
You haven't seen him?
That sounds great.
Oh, man.
Formidable.
Okay, talk. I'm gonna look for it.
I mean, it's very demure. Have you seen that?
Oh,
fuck,
very
yes.
mindful, very cutesy, very
Papi.
demure.
But I went
That's
into the rabbit
right.
hole of what that was, and I regret it. Yeah, no, I am a keeper. Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna change gears and kind of end this with local soccer talk, and then bring on goals, gaffes, and greats with our SDFC coverage. As you saw, also we were involved with some of the news that was broken. There was a press conference announced last week from SDFC San Diego FC with some mysterious news, some big news on the sporting side of things, and everything kind of swirled around what can it be, what's it going to be, is it a coach, is it a new player? They just signed Patty McNair, like, oh my god, Ronaldo's next. Obviously. What are you doing?
Sorry, I found the Memo Orchata.
Okay, show me Memo Chata, please, and then we'll bring on Abe, so we'll see what he thinks as well. I have not seen anything impressive yet by Memo Chata. I'm not impressed.
No, he's very average.
Terrible.
Yeah, no,
Terrible. He moved away from the ball. I do not respect Memo Chata.
No, he's not a good goalkeeper.
He has disrespected. No, find good gordito goalkeepers. Like, it's actually impressive
for
what
sure.
we can do, or formerly me, can do in those aspects. But we're with
Luis knows Memo Orchata. Yes, knows who he is.
San Diego Punto Football was there live in person, in the flesh, as Pink Floyd once said, at Snapdragon Stadium. They're making a habit of doing announcements at Snapdragon Stadium, renting the place out with the announcement that
the lease started, so might as well.
The brand new, never before seen, never before heard of, Tyler Heaps was named GM, sporting director for San Diego FC. And let's see, Abe, do you want to come in and chat about it? All right, he's coming in. What's up, Abe? What's up? All right, Tyler Heaps coming in. We kind of spoke about this when he was next to Chucky Lozano and Tom Penn in that press conference, as far as like, well, who's he assisting? The original idea, the original plan.
He was technically the chief soccer officer, which
technically
is
a different position.
Never heard of before. Chief soccer officer.
Sorry,
that was when Chucky was announced. Yep.
And also named the assistant sporting director. To a sporting director that didn't exist. But yeah,
He
Tony,
was his
tell
own
us, you were there.
assistant to the assistant regional manager.
Assistant to the assistant regional manager being himself, and the assistant to the assistant being himself as well. What a conundrum he found himself. But all right, just to give the background, right? So it was announced that the appointment of Tyler Heaps as the club's first ever sporting director and general manager. This again, once Carlos Aviña, the AS Monaco sporting director's contract fell through, and
Fabrizio Romano got that one wrong.
yeah, Fabirucci's got that one wrong.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Heaps was brought over 10 has over 10 years of top level global football experience from his role at Right to Dream, AS Monaco, and the U.S. Soccer Federation. At 33, Heaps also becomes the youngest sporting director in MLS history. And so that should kind of tell you the direction that this team is definitely going into. Heaps he's told me that he's watched this show. How far are we? Heaps es un nerdo. O sea, nerdo de nerdos con el respeto del mundo, with everything that goes well with that, right? He's a soccer nerd. He's an analytical person. He looks at numbers. He looks at trends. He looks at areas
Bigger nerd than Nate Miller?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like Nate Miller can crunch numbers on the computer. Tyler can probably build the computer in which he's crunching those numbers on. Like
Nate Miller's gonna be watching this. There's a very mean.
He's got
Miller time.
He's got a mathematics degree. He allegedly watched the movie Moneyball and then got into analytics, which is just the most like dude thing that you can do as like a athlete. Just be like, analytics are cool. Moneyball was cool. I'm going to look into this. And now he's the sporting director of a Major League Soccer team. That's insane.
Yeah.
Youngest sporting director.
Youngest, yeah.
And that's really a Moneyball aspect. If you're not familiar with it, go check out our Emmy, Oscar, Academy Award-winning film, first of all.
Great movie.
You watch Moneyball?
It's a great movie. Why would I not watch Moneyball?
All right.
Not truthful at all.
Not at all.
Withhold a lot of players that actually had an impact on that team. They never talk about pitching. You ever think about that? They never talk about pitching.
They never do.
Awesome pitching staff.
Yeah, this is a soccer podcast, not a baseball podcast. So.
All right, sorry. Thank you. Just let's squash this. Lindsey Horan to waive 2027. As of now,
2 more years, right?
As of now, no. And no. Did I get to touch a gold medal?
Did you touch a gold medal?
Maybe.
You hypocritical piece of shit. I would not hold the gold medal from Shannon McMillan, and you hold Lindsey Horan's gold medal
because it's the Eiffel Tower.
You hypocritical piece of crap human being.
It's the Eiffel Tower.
Abe, he's the worst.
It's the Eiffel Tower.
He is the worst.
There's a reason why he's a goalkeeper and you and I are journalists.
100%.
We are people that have ethics. We don't do things like this.
There's a reason we don't, we keep it professional with coaches, and we don't build. We're not friends, Tony.
Yeah.
To hear your voice. It's been a long time. It's been a while. No se me arda.
I didn't touch the medal, all right?
He touched the medal. He told me.
No. What, did I hop over and say, give me that medal, Lindsey?
I don't know what you did.
Give me that purse.
I don't know what you did.
That's my purse. I don't know you.
If there's no picture, then there's no proof. So we'll never.
Exactly. There's no proof of me touching it. 100%. There's no proof of me doing it.
Of you not doing it.
George says, kind of funny. You kind of know he was going to take over since he was the Chucky introduction. Yes and no, because he was literally the only person that was front office soccer ops related that could have sat next to Tom. Still is, and give insight on the soccer side of things. Because look, we've talked to Tom Penn, we've met Tom Penn, we've had discussions with Tom Penn, and he's very open and transparent about soccer not being his first sport and him being an outsider in many different ways and aspects in that way. But Tyler Heaps is the guy that will break down the game to a molecular level. We're working on having him on for a longer stretch of time. But an exciting time to have something, again, very ambitious and revolutionary-ish for what they're intending on doing with San Diego FC and the Right to Dream Academy, which Tyler was a part of and was the guy that was starting these scouting networks.
My next question to this is, couldn't have all this just been an email?
Yes. Yes.
Because I mean, you kind of hype this up and you make an announcement about it, and people are expecting, oh, maybe they're announcing a coach, maybe they're announcing another player, anything like that. I know Tyler Hips mentioned, right? The players are coming
Tyler
and the man
Hips.
Hips. So.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. That was sorry. Hips. You know they can't hear when we're off.
Yeah, so I don't care.
All right, hips don't lie. Tyler Heaps. Let's hear from the newly named general manager and sporting director of San Diego FC, who is the person, the individual in charge of building this squad.
Name and your media organization, please.
Hello, good morning. Tony Sanchez, San Diego Football. Just first of all, congratulations, but I want to just get the insight on how you plan on marrying and managing your style of analytics in soccer with the intangibility in the nature of the sport, and also what's next on the roster building. Patty McNair is here. You have that defensive veteran. What's coming up next for you?
Dumpin hates you, dude.
I think soccer as a sport, right? Analytics has boomed in other areas. It's boomed in baseball. It boomed in basketball. And soccer is such a unique sport. And there's also, it's very low scoring. So data isn't always the easiest things to use. And the way I look at it is I grew up in finance. And the way you make investments is to try to use information to make better decisions. And it's the same in football. So any times that you can try to minimize risk and make sure that obviously you can have a better idea, but obviously context comes into all of that. So it's about combining those two things, I think, which is really important. And the way I've always positioned myself in the sport is that how do we get as much information as possible so we're making intelligent decisions, but also marrying that with the context that is so crucial and important in football. And in terms of a squad build, look, we're active at the moment. We're doing a lot of monitoring, a lot of stuff that probably you guys don't see in the media, but that's what we need to do as an expansion side. We obviously need to prepare for the expansion draft. We know that a large contingency of our players will come from MLS just based on the rules of an expansion team. But we're also, similar to how we signed Patty, we're looking for opportunities in the market. And he became an opportunity. He's somebody that really wanted to explore outside of England. And I think he saw the value of what we were trying to do here. And I think he fits a lot of what we're looking for in a center back, a ball playing one, a modern day one that can step into midfield if he needs to. He can play on the left, he can play on the right. So he checks a lot of boxes in terms of what we're looking for from an expansion side.
That's where they are right now. Currently, if you want to hear what the latest is with San Diego FC, you just heard it. What Tyler Heaps is saying is this is what we're going with, the direction that we're moving into, realizing too, he mentioned later in the press conference that it's difficult to ask players to say, come to this new team. Come to this new team that has a way of seeing things that might be radical to some, maybe radical to others, but you're not going to play here for 6 months. There's nowhere for you to play in San Diego, so you need to play elsewhere. So the West Brom, the West Brom deal was a little difficult, and it was interesting because of that. There's too many aspects of, well, I need this player to be match fit. You saw Chucky Lozano last week score 2 goals, so he's doing all right over there. I think everybody is content. Just lethal weapon ball, Chucky Lozano just coming in and tearing up that match. But now it's moving forward with peppering, just sprinkling some extra talent. There is negotiations and discussions for the next DP. The designated player for SDFC, and that's going to be coming in and getting worked in. But first and foremost, the priority for SDFC, the priority for Tyler Heaps, is getting this short list that initially had about 20 to 25 managers, and they're dwindling down. The question was Jimmy Lozano, who was the coach for the Mexican national team, was he involved in the conversations with SDFC? It seems like the conversations point to yes. There was conversations with Jimmy Lozano because of his status. When they started this global search for a manager, they also didn't have Jimmy Lozano in that particular position. That's not to signal that La Jimineta? What did you guys call it? Lamborghini. Sorry. sorry, kids. La Lamborghini iba a llegar aquí a San Diego and it was going to be part of it. I don't think that's a direction that's going to happen. But that's the place where SDFC is building from and building at. The thing about having Tyler Heaps on is that he can make those calls and the decision that is based on the system that he knows, which is Right to Dream. Right to Dream is also very much dictated by the analytics, the numbers. And so that's my point where I'm just like, all right, that's an interesting take. There, he sees from what Tyler Heaps says, a lot of holes in soccer that aren't taken advantage of with analytics. And we saw this in different sports, saw this in baseball. We're starting to see this in just in different sports altogether where things are becoming more efficient and it works for the most part, right? Abe, do you have any thoughts on just kind of what's going on with SDFC and Tyler Heaps and the whole movement?
think when you talk about analytics and sports in general, a lot of fans tend to immediately just get frightened, and it is harder to cover, harder to think about when like people with crazy business degrees are taking over sports and changing the way everything is played, and you have to understand crazy algorithms and stuff. But at a base level, sometimes it does become less entertaining when you look at like just how like the game is played. Like if they're gonna do weird stuff that they have to do, like whether it be just playing up all the time or just having a different sense of style that you're not used to, or maybe just going completely young players. Like when you think of analytics too, you always think of the cheap teams. Like you think of the Tampa Bay Rays, you think of the Oakland Athletics. I don't think that's what we'll see from San Diego FC right now. But in the future, when you look at having a right to dream, you're going to have a lot of young players. You're going to have a lot of young, cheap players that are going to be able to fit a style that you're trying to play, the right to dream style. You're not necessarily getting star players that you want. Oh, I want this player because he plays like himself. You're not getting that player. You're getting the right to dream player. That can just be X name that you forget about in a few years.
Yeah, no, I mean it's interesting. It's a different approach. I mean, again, you're trying to revolutionize soccer in the MLS, and I think that's the way to do it, right?
It's not easy, and I
It's
actually caught up to him after the initial announcement and just kind of asked him a couple of additional questions here.
Make sure that we have the right people surrounding myself as well as this organization. So that's first and foremost, as well as we have our recruitment efforts up and running. So we're doing a lot of monitoring of players, trying to find what opportunities exist in the market, as well as making sure that we're prepared for December for the expansion draft and the NCAA draft and a number of other mechanisms of how we'll acquire players.
So this is almost like a Moneyball approach with your background in analytics and the computer science. So what does that aspect seem untouched and untapped in football and world football in general?
Yeah, look, there's been no secrets that some teams have had a lot of success in this area, and that's obviously in other sports as well as football with Liverpool and some of the others in terms of how they've went in. I look at it as a balance. I think it's about efficiencies, and I think it's about are we efficient? We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of players to sign, and we don't know what that team is going to look like in January. We can have an idea of what the strengths and weaknesses are, but I do think more information allows us to see how we start to fill some of those gaps. So it's about using information to find which young players are available, which contracts are attractive, et cetera. And so trying to combine all of that information to make our lives more efficient and to make better decisions at the end of the day.
And so we spoke earlier about Patty McNair getting that center back who plays out the back with that experience. Check. You got Chucky Lozano. Now, in order to fill out that roster, that initial idea, what are you looking for more? Are you still looking for those landmark players that are going to be leaders in the defense, midfield, attack? Or what's next to just fill those players out and identify them through the draft and expansion draft?
Yeah, look, we've done a lot of research. We do a lot of research to figure out, okay, what types of players are going to be available in the expansion draft. We've done a lot of monitoring of MLS and USL and MLS Next Pro and a number of other these leagues to try to find their opportunities there. But we have a very good spine of the team. Obviously, it's only 5 players, but I think 4 of those are going to be very big contributors for us in 2025. And so we need to continue to build on that. We are looking at other DPs at the moment. We expect to potentially have one done in the coming months. So just to continue to try to find a player that can make an impact in this league, but also resonates with San Diego, because as I mentioned there, it's important for us to have a team that looks and feels what this city wants and also should deserves.
And in terms of that, with the manager coming up, what are you most likely looking into? A big name with that backing who can handle a project like this? Or does that factor in any way to what you're looking for to lead your play style?
That's a good question, and I think we've looked at all those options. I would say that in our finalists, we have different types of candidates. We have a candidate, obviously, that probably fits more of the style of play, the details type. We have a candidate that obviously is more veteran, that has experience, obviously, in leading a team in a locker room. And so from our standpoint, it's about having those conversations with ownership and with leadership and making sure that we choose the candidate, but also surround him with the right staff. I think that's also what's really important for us is it's not just the head coach. It's also the entire staff that is working with them on a daily basis and how we make sure that that staff is successful.
Well, I'm very proud of you, Tyler Heaps. This is
You can listen to the rest of this interview with Lindsey Horan, and she does pull out the gold medal that I did not touch on there, but some really good stuff for SDFC and just the direction that this is legitimately going. And next coming weeks, we should know the manager of SDFC. Some good discussion happening in the comments. Yeah, he definitely has a wish list of who he wants. He's going to find those diamonds in the rough. I would also like to see Michael Essien be a part of the SDFC coaching staff. He was out there with some scouting for Right to Dream.
Mm-hmm. Breaking. Just
Breaking?
real quick. Pochettino won't be the SDFC manager. Heard it here first.
Got it.
What about Greg Berhalter? How would you guys feel about Greg Berhalter taking over?
Not great.
I would feel, you asked me how I feel, I would feel like that's just another box being checked, and that's it. We have the Mexican fans, one with Chucky Lozano.
But Berhalter's
we
not
need
a,
the
he's
we
not
need
loved by
the
Americans.
we need the people who maybe like a little bit more of the Joe Rogan side of things to be a part of it, and that may be something that bridges that gap. And
I thought they already got that with
Jocko. I mean, yeah, 100%. But you know, on a soccer side of things, right? Like you can like the fact that Manny Machado is part of SDFC ownership all you want, but he's not going to be playing. He's not going to be the one that's actively doing something, actively winning or losing the matches. But either way, it's going to be an interesting look the next couple of weeks. There is going to be a couple of more announcements. There was a question in the chat. Where was it? If he's even played soccer. And I have the answer for you here in a bit. Did this guy play soccer? Thanks to our pal and friend, you know him too, Abe, the great Francisco Velasco. On his page on X, you can go ahead and see this deep dive that he did. Indeed, Tyler Heaps did play soccer. There is a younger Tyler, as you can see, looking into SDFC sporting director Tyler Heaps. A bit more, found some fun facts from his time at Augsburg as an Augsburg University player. Taco Bell close by is a legendary response. What is he talking about? Well, a little get to know him. Let's get to know Tyler Heaps. Favorite class, yoga. It's almost like saying recess. Last summer job, bartender. What I like the most about Augsburg is Taco Bell close by. Sweet. Athletic goal at Augsburg, win a national championship. All right, cool. Winning mentality. Why not? Athletic goal in Augsburg. Biggest thrill in athletics. TD saving tackle in section. Athlete I admire. All right, athlete I admire. Clint Dempsey. Not a Landon guy. He's a Dempsey guy. Mm-hmm. Favorite quote. You were born an original. Don't die a copy. Deep. Favorite food, Zaxby's. I've seen Zaxby's. It looks good. Do you know Zaxby's, guys?
No, I don't.
Chicken place in the South. Favorite TV show, America's Got Talent. I have some thoughts on that, but depending who the judges are, I like the original judges of America's Got Talent for sure. Favorite movie, The Cable Guy. Very interesting choice. Francisco also noted that he doesn't know anybody whose favorite movie is The Cable Guy. I did ask him, actually, and didn't make it the final cut. I asked both Lindsey and Tyler, hey, is the puppy coming over to San Diego? Is that's the next transfer news? Confirmed. No. puppy lives with Lindsay Horan in France. Favorite music group, Drake. All right.
Yikes. Certified lover boy.
All right. I don't know if that's changed since then. Maybe some new information has come in.
I
But
hope so.
very basic, just get to know a young Tyler Heath. But yes, to answer your question, he did play soccer. Went in a tile. Need it. Ask Tyler next time. Taco Bell or taco shop? Well, he's gonna have to learn. Luis.
He does look like-
Luis.
What do we even mean by that, guys? Come on. What is a Drake fan?
Wop.
I would assume similar to an early 2000s Kanye fan. That makes sense, actually. That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Pink polo, shades with the little lines. Any case,
yeah.
very esteemed position. The general manager, youngest general manager in his position in the MLS. Exciting times.
When did he say the coach should be announced by this month?
Couple of weeks.
So in August.
Couple weeks. So from that list, I think now we're dwindled it down to about 10.
Oh my gosh.
And since then
10?
it's compressed, so it's coming down. It's coming down. Apparently this is what a global search for a coach looks like. Unlike other teams who found one in the backyard. We'll see how that goes. But in any case, SDFC making moves. We will follow
Real
that.
quick,
Yes, Abe.
I'll just say all that stuff, all that information was 2012. It's been 12 years. That's a long time. Maybe he's changed.
Man, he's a Kendrick fan now.
If you weren't a Kendrick fan in 2010,
You weren't a
2012,
Kendrick, you're not.
I know. Kendrick should have been there. This is now turned into a Kendrick v Drake chat. So welcome.
We're gonna move on from this chat, from this conversation.
You took it there. Are you?
I didn't. It just said Drake. That's his MO.
Peripherally, we could still get fired for that. All right. We do have a 2-hour time limit because actually we have cool features coming up. I don't know if you know this, Abe, but StreamYard helps you make clips. Yeah, just keep it under 2 hours. So season's greetings. With that, we're going to go ahead and keep talking San Diego FC and everything that is happening on that side of the Snapdragon. Duran watched. Oh, he did say that he was going to go watch Orange County, and hopefully Duran played. Unfortunately, Duran did not play up in this weekend, so that did not happen. So moving in, and I'm just gonna keep you hostage here, Abe, for the last part of the segment, for the last part of the show, where we have F's and greats. We did have a winner. It's already been distributed. The Leagues Cup.
Woo.
Coveted scarf. It was,
Which scarf are we giving away next?
Are we just doing that now? Just giving away scarf?
Give everything out.
Yeah, no, I think we're good. Goals, gaps, and greats. All right. Did you see any of the things that I sent by any chance, Abe? You might have to send it back.
I saw one of them. I saw all of them.
Did you really?
I don't think I saw the goal.
A new gaff that I found.
All right. So this is going to be the gaff of the week selected by Alejandro El Chia Villaseñor. And we're going to go ahead and see what is going on. What in the soccer is going on here? Am I going to be impressed?
I think it's the Chicago Fire against, I'm not too sure which other team. But
This was like week 2 in MLS.
See, again.
Oh, well, I saw it this week, and that's Tony's argument.
Viral
contextualization,
okay?
No, this is not my
No, you
discussion.
threw something last week that Abe was like, that was like 2 years ago, and you're like, oh, it popped up on my feed this week.
And I've grown and I've learned since then that there is a time limit, a statute of limitations.
Well, I guess this isn't the gaff anymore because Abe's a party pooper.
Didn't you send the other gaff? I saw you send a gaff.
I did, but again, Chiva. This is what happens
on
when
the iMessage.
This is what happens when Chiva just decides to commandeer this. He always does this. He's making just edits with me and Landon, and I don't appreciate them. It makes us look like Landon and I have some sort of unprofessional relationship, and to be completely obtuse with you, it's making me uncomfortable, Chiva, and I'm going to go ahead and reach out to HR because of this. That sound is, of course, the airdrop sound.
It's been a while, Tony.
And we'll been a while from what?
It's good to hear your voice.
Oh. All right, gaff of the week.
Landon.
Not that. That is a gaff of the week. It's okay. We gotta let it
Have
roll.
a safe flight, Esteban. He's going to New York City in the morning.
Season's greetings, Esteban. Have a good one. Have a great one. With that said, here is the gaff of the week.
Sentido Lucho Ruiz. Y allá vemos al jugador, le dio ganas de orinar de aguajón, señor. Está orinando, está misionando. Oye, está loco, antirreglamentario. Cuidado, el árbitro se le acerca porque parecía que se sacó tuyas. ¡Uy, roja! Roja, le expulsan a este muchacho de Atlético Aguajón.
All right, so a couple things with this, right?
Landon didn't get a yellow card.
Well, it wasn't during the match. It wasn't during the match, so
I
you
know.
can't technically. I mean, you can technically, but you can't technically get a red card for that. Couple things. The voice of God is not just the voice of God. It's the commentary, not just through the broadcast, but it's also on the loudspeaker.
Resentido Lucho Ruiz. Y allá vemos al jugador, le dio ganas de orinar.
So the commentator is commentating as the player who's, injured and, he's not getting up. But then he completely narcs on the guy taking the corner.
Ruiz. Y allá vemos al jugador, le dio ganas de orinar.
And we see the player over there.
De aguajón, señor.
He's just got the urge to pee. And then the camera perfectly pans to this man. Oh, like, God.
I don't think this is real. This can't be real, man.
It is actually real. It happened, I believe, in Panama.
Oh, no.
Hey.
In like a lower division of it. But long story short, I mean, you pee on the field, referee does come over.
The right thing. It is definitely a red card.
He's narrating how anti-rule book this is against the rule book to do that.
Cuidado.
Oh, watch
El
out.
árbitro se le acerca porque parecía que se sacó tuyas. Uy, roja.
His reaction. Uy, roja. As if he's surprised. And the player too. What is he pointing at? Usually you point at something like, foul over there. Nah, where? Here? But his reaction to it is just like,
he didn't even pee on the field. He peed out of the lines.
DeMarcus Beasley also did that, and it was showcased to millions on the bench, and nobody's.
It should have been a yellow card.
I agree. It should have been a yellow card for the circumstances. That is indeed a red card. That is the gaff of the week. Mándame el great because I edited. I exited it out of this. Have you ever had to do that, Abe?
No, I've done it. Like I've had to run to like the park bathroom or wherever we're playing, but never in the corner.
Yes, please. He did get snitched down by the PA, which is the funny thing. That's my favorite part out of all of that. All right. So just for context, tomorrow, actually, I will be, this is weird, segments of events. I'll be later on in the day after the workday. Going over to SeaWorld. Why, Tony? I'm gonna go see Shamu and say hi to your family. Well, that's fucked up, Chiva. But no, I will be going to a press conference that the Cholo. He really got that. That the Cholos.
No, I saw something else. That's not a joke anymore. Sorry, like you're skinny now.
It's still a joke. Mm-hmm. He's almost done. Abe's almost done. It's okay. I'm sorry. We're
You knew exactly what was happening.
100%. I speak Latino parents or Latino family. But all right, I'm going to be at the SeaWorld for a special announcement between Cholos Quintles de Tijuana and SeaWorld. And it's a press conference tomorrow. But all right, I'm excited for that, I guess. But with that, it is just time because the grade is going to be Gilberto Mora Jr., his dad, also Liga MX player, but he debuted at 15 years old.
And got an assist.
And got an assist for Cholo's victory 3-1 against Santos Laguna.
He's one of the only 3 15-year-olds or 3 of the youngest players in Liga MX to get an assist on their debut, or even just get an assist.
Yeah, so I mean, an incredible story there, and really the focus there, and I think just the great is because younger players are breaking into the region, and with Right to Dream coming in, and with all these new dynamics, like he could have been part of the open tryout a couple years ago, right? So that's just to put in perspective. That can be the next case for somebody's the SDFC and Cholos are fighting for it. There's a kid who at Monterrey is going to be fighting SDFC for rights, and that's a reality of what we're going to be seeing here locally. But shout out a 15-year-old getting an assist and playing in a league tournament, not easy. So absolutely, congratulations there.
Very interesting what's happening in Tijuana right now. Juan Carlos Osorio has like really changed things around. I think Cholos are a really good team right now, and then he answered questions about being linked to the Costa Rican job, and he has a clause in his contract that if he wants to leave for a national team job that he can. So we could possibly see Osorio like completely saving the Cholos and then just immediately leaving, which would be insane.
There's also a new rule that was brought back this season in Liga MX where there has to be a certain number of minutes for like academy-based players and youngsters to be played, which is why in the first 2 weeks of the season, there was already like a 40-something players that made their debut, which is a great thing in itself for Mexico. And I think it's something that should be implemented everywhere.
I, for one, think that this entire season for Cholos definitely turned around the minute that this happened.
Hola, soy Jesus Corona.
I mean, I don't, you can't convince me otherwise. That is literally when the luck for Cholos. Hey, how are Querétaro doing? Are they doing good too?
I don't think so.
I need to find my boy Joe. Where's Joe at? Ahí está mi Joe Corona. Shout out super papi, Joe Corona.
Hola, soy Joe Corona y...
Whoa, whoa.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you for that.
No, Querétaro's 0-5.
0-5. Well, guess what? The woof is better than a kiki. Who would have thought? All right. Goal of the week. The goal of the week is to be as great as the SDSU. What? Fuck off. You didn't send anything.
You didn't send anything either.
Abe didn't send anything either.
I thought we had a winner.
Had one.
Who sent it? You said we had a winner.
The goal of the week is to be good people. I really think that we can all strive and just be a better individuals in our own unique way, and the goal should be like the San Diego State women's soccer team who won 3-1 in their first game at Snapdragon Stadium. So check that team out. A lot of soccer stuff happening. We actually got an email to donate to USD Soccer out of nowhere. So if you want to do that, Abe, feel free. No, you don't.
I'm a journalist. I can't.
You don't support soccer. You don't support women's soccer. Got it. This is dangerous. But with that said, that has been. Are you finding a goal?
I'm looking for one, but
goals.
Jamie Vardy scored against Tottenham on Leicester City's first game back in the Premier League and pointed at the Premier League badge that they have one and Tottenham has 0. So that's the goal of the week.
I like that. With that
I was
said,
going to ask if you guys had any strong thoughts on the opening to Premier League season. I was kind of...
Man U won. That's all that matters. Chelsea lost. That's all that matters with their 50 squad roster.
Cucurella.
Haaland tiembla. Ahí viene Cucurella.
Those are my thoughts on the Premier League week 1.
Cucurella is the grade of the week.
Cucurella is not the grade of the week. Shout out to Haaland. Haaland. All right. I think it's been a great day today. Thank you everybody who's joined us. Thank you for the chat, the engagement. Thank you, Paul, Nathan, Naku. Thank you for everybody.
Mama Abe, ya se puede ir, Abe.
Is that really what happened?
That's my sister, but close. I'm gonna go look at the moon right now. There's a fancy big blue moon or something outside.
Yes, it's a big moon, 100%.
It is a very big moon.
Speaking of big moons, Chiva, thank you for having a fantastic show today. Really appreciate you. A Cepeda, you can find him at @Cepeda. You can find everything for soccer in San Diego, sandiego.futbol.
Shout out to Nick Moon.
That was actually pretty fucking funny. I really appreciate that from you, Chiva. Seasons and greetings to everybody in the chat. Abe, you've been a wonder. But again, no one can be as charming.
Nice to hear your voice again. It's been
a while.
It's been a while. Till next time, Landon. Till next time, guys. Have a good one.
Good one, everyone.